Thank you. I want to welcome everybody here. I know you've been welcomed already, but I want to welcome everybody. I'm going to create a new rule from the board that the chair and the president should share their remarks before the meeting, because your remarks are my remarks, so I'm going to have to go off the cuff. Dr. Lanchowski made reference to my close working relationship for many years with the late Bill Casey. What he didn't make reference to, all full disclosure, Bill Casey was my father-in-law. So a lot of people in this room already know that. I'm going to speak to the class. I'm proud. I am very proud to be chairman of this institution. And I'm proud to be chairman of this institution because of the class. Not just this class, but the various classes I've addressed in the past. Each one seems to be a step above. I was here Thursday. There was a seminar. I hope every one of you were there. It was, Dr. George, it was comparable with anything I see on that stupid tube that I watch. The students had prepared, were much more prepared than any of the experts that I saw, that I see on that tube. In fact, some of the students were a little surprised because I asked for a copy of their remarks, and I told them why I wanted it, because I wanted to share them with somebody who we've had the honor of awarding a degree here before and who has become a very close friend of mine, General Michael Flynn. So we're going to share with him. When I graduated from college many, many years ago, in 1959, we faced a different world. We faced the Cold War. And we had the Soviet Union, and we had the United States, and we both had significant nuclear capacity, and we were worried about what was going to happen. Dr. George is a graduate of Harvard. When I was in college, we had a young fellow who had just earned his PhD who came down to Trinity, which is where I went, and as an adjunct and ran a seminar. You may remember his name, Henry Kissinger. But he used to come down, so I first got to know Dr. Kissinger that way. The world that you're going out to, you're going to face when you come out of here this afternoon, is a totally different world. Yes, Russia, as Dr. Lanchowski made reference to, Russia and the Ukraine is a situation that is totally intolerable, and unfortunately, we're not doing much about it. The sanctions aren't working. ISIS, just today, we took out a ISIS warlord, I'm going to call him. You know what that's going to be? You think there's going to be retribution in the next couple of weeks for doing that? That's how they work. I was nervous when I came down on Thursday, and it's something we don't normally see at the airport. There were police, riot gear, automatic weapons. That's not America, but unfortunately, that's America today. Now, in the early 1980s, we had the Cold War. Ronald Reagan became president of the United States, and he had fought communism all his life. And he put together a national security staff, which included Dr. Lanchowski. And they put together something that I've seen referred to as the grand strategy. Actually, Professor Norm Bailey has put together a collection of those papers and those reports with that title. They put together a plan. The Soviet Union didn't just collapse. It was planned. There was a plan, a definite plan. Unfortunately, when the wall went down in the early 90s, we thought the Cold War was over. I now think we are facing Cold War II. I'm not sure. There's one fellow out there who's saying it's not Cold War II, it's World War III. You've probably seen the reports that the Holy Father refers to it as World War III. But whatever you want to call it, the situation is worse than the situation you're going to face is worse than the situation that I faced when I graduated from college, when I graduated from graduate school. Now, as chairman of the board of this institution, I want to ask for your help. Usually the chairman of the board asks for your help, and he has a tin cup and is trying to raise money. Of course I do that. That's part of our job. But I also want to I want you to come back and help us. You're going to go out, and as Dr. Lanchowski mentioned, most of you are going to go out into government service, into the foreign service, various different roles, the IC. I want you to come back, because I want you to come back and tell us what you're doing. We can do it, we can keep it quiet if your situation is such that that's what we have to do. It's like, I'll tell a funny story. I was with General Hayden and General Flynn one day, and they were chatting about what was going on in the world. And I said, hey guys, I'm not clear. They said, I'll show you are. But no, I want you to come back and tell your professors, tell Dr. Lanchowski, tell me, what are you seeing? How what you learned here at the Institute has helped you, how it has helped you in your career. That'd be great help for us, because we're always looking to see what we can do to make sure that what we do here is going to be helpful to you. Now, I'm very proud also of the Student Government Association. Thursday night, I was down to an event downstairs, and what do we call that room? I'm not sure what we call that. Lounge. The Student Lounge. And they started a wall honoring General Yako and somebody who was one of my closest friends, Ambassador Milady. I understand that, I've not seen her, but I understand that Dr. Milady, Mrs. Margaret Milady, is here today, and if that's true, Margaret, I welcome you. I know you're just back from Europe. But there was an example of a man who dedicated his life to this country, an ambassador, a college president, the United States ambassador to the Holy See. Tom was, and I still have on my desk at home several papers that he and I were writing together when he suddenly passed. And General Yako, I really commend the students for that. I commend the students for the Deceit and Denial, the most recent edition I was reading this morning. I'm really very proud of student government. I'm very proud of our student body. And I thank you very much, and I wish you well.